This is Brett Strong. I'm going to talk about Stephanie Gray and something she said. If you don't know Stephanie Gray, she's the most powerful female woman pro-lifer in the world. Very well spoken. And this is what I'm going to quote what she said. It's about a woman who has tubular pregnancy, and she has to get the embryo or fetus removed, tubular embryo removed, if she's gonna live. So she has to, if she wants to live, a woman with tubular pregnancy has to get the embryo removed. It's called double effect. Stephanie Gray likes to use it as a double effect. That you try to do the lesser evil, you try to do the most good, but it's gonna have an effect. So she says, basically, if a woman has tubular pregnancy, the lesser evil is to get rid of the embryo to save the woman's life. Because if you leave the embryo inside of the fallopian tube, she's going to die. So the lesser evil, the most good, the double effect would be, okay, one effect is one move is we have to remove the embryo to get the greater effect, save the woman's life. But this is her words about tubular pregnancy. And it's super fallacious, people. It's so fallacious. She says, I see it's going to happen. Talking about the tubular pregnancy and removing the embryo to save the woman's life. Stephanie Gray says, I see it's going to happen, but it's unintended. I don't want it to happen. She's saying that she doesn't want the embryo to be removed because she's a pro-lifer. So she doesn't want the embryo to be removed. So she says, I see it's going to happen, the embryo is going to be removed. I see it's going to happen, but it's unintended. I don't want it to happen. I'll say it again. I see it's going to happen, but it's unintended. I don't want it to happen. Now, let me break that down. Stephanie Gray says, I see it's going to happen. Agreed. But it's unintended. Now, this is where Stephanie Gray goes way off course. She's, I'm saying this in the nicest of words because Stephanie Gray seems like a wonderful person that we could sit down and eat some sushi together. But I'm breaking her down, so I gotta say it. When she says, but it's unintended, she's lying. It's unintended. Then she goes on to say, I don't want it to happen. She's lying again. She's lying again, folks. Let me back up. But it's unintended. Removing the embryo from the fallopian tube is unintended. I didn't want it to happen. Removing the embryo from the fallopian tube. This is fallacious, folks, because when a woman has tubular pregnancy, the doctors see it and they go back to the woman and ask her, or her husband, or a pastor, priest, whatever, and say, hey, she has tubular pregnancy. The embryo's inside the fallopian tube. If it stays, she's going to die. We need to remove the fallopian tube with the embryo in it. That doctor has to get the woman's permission. It's premeditated, folks. It's intended. So when Stephanie Gray says, but it's unintended to remove the embryo in the fallopian tube, when she says, I didn't want it to happen to remove the embryo in the fallopian tube, she's lying because it is intended. She goes, but it's unintended. No, it isn't. When a woman has an operation to remove a fallopian tube that has an embryo in it, it's intended. It's an operation. She's given the go-ahead. It's premeditated by everyone. By her, the husband, if she has a husband, by the doctor, if she has a pastor, priest. It's 100% intended. That abortion is 100% intended. When Stephanie Gray says, well, I don't want it to happen. No, she's lying again because she does want it to happen. Because if she doesn't want it to happen, she doesn't have to have the operation to have the embryo removed from the fallopian tube. Yes, she'll die. But if she doesn't want it to happen, she doesn't have to have it happen. She doesn't have to have it happen. A woman having an operation to get the fallopian tube removed because the embryo's in it, she wants it to happen. But Stephanie Gray says, no, I don't want it to happen. No, you're lying, Stephanie Gray, because you want it to happen, and the pregnant woman with the fallopian tube wants it to happen, and the doctor wants it to happen, and there's a pastor and priest involved, they want it to happen, and if there's a husband involved, they want it to happen, and the woman's pregnant, and the woman's parents, they want it to happen. Everybody wants it to happen. They want the embryo and the fallopian tube out to save the woman. It's intended. Everybody wants it. They want it to happen, and it's intended. It's 100% intended to remove that embryo in the fallopian tube, and so Stephanie Gray to make that move, saying, well, it's unintended that we have to take the embryo and the fallopian tube out. I don't want it to happen. The embryo and the fallopian tube taken out. You see the tap dance pro-lifers must do to try to get away of trying to opt out of having to admit that they support abortion. You see the tap dance, the double talk, the double speaking. Stephanie Gray, just admit, yeah, I support abortion. I'm pro-lifer, but in some situations, I support abortion. Just admit it, Stephanie Gray, right now. Just admit it. Just admit it to the world. You support abortion. But Stephanie Gray would do anything to get out of the fact of having to admit she supports abortion. She would do anything. Like, well, this is just. Well, I don't care. Well, the woman getting an abortion says her reason is just too. This is the kind of things that pro-lifers like Scott Klusendorf, Francis Beckwith, Greg Cole, Sean McDowell, Alan Schumann, Brett Kochel, Jeff Durbin. These are the things these pro-lifers do. They do these crazy tap dancing to get out of admitting that they support abortion, but they do. Because a tubular pregnancy is a tubular pregnancy operation to cut the fallopian tube out with the embryo in it. That is 100% premeditated, 100% intended, 100% planned out. Because she doesn't have to have the embryo removed from the fallopian tube. This is something she doesn't have to do. So to have it done is her choice. Just like a woman having an abortion who has a regular pregnancy, it's her choice. Just like the woman who has tubular pregnancy, it's her choice. Well, if you're going to say, well, if she has tubular pregnancy and the shit is going to remove, she's going to die. Well, guess what, folks? She's going to die anyway because we all die. She just buys herself more time if she gets the fallopian tube removed that has the embryo in it. She just buys herself more time. Because everyone involved, the baby, the mom, and the embryo, they're both going to die someday, somehow, some way. We all die, folks. Whether you like it or not, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. But Stephanie Gray, stop doing this tap dancing. Just admit, be a woman about it. You support abortion in some facet, just like basically everyone supports abortion in some facet. Just be honest, like, hey, I'm a pro-lifer, but hey, these instances, I support abortion. You know why you won't do it, Stephanie Gray? Because it takes away your bite. It takes away your suffering. Well, I don't know you that well, but I'm going to have to, this is my thoughts upon you. That it has to be something, you want to feel righteous, holy, godly, noble. It has to be something going on for you not to admit the obvious. That you do support abortion. Because a tubular pregnancy, to get that operated on and taken out, is premeditated. You want it to happen. It is 100% intended. It's premeditated. Aborting that embryo. Let me move on. Then Stephanie Gray goes on to say, now this is what she says about a woman who has an abortion, has a regular pregnancy, who has an abortion. So it's like, well, see, the women who has a regular abortion, this is her mindset. Her mindset is, I'm going to directly kill you. If I could save you, I wouldn't. That's her own word, folks, verbatim. She says about the woman who's going to have an abortion, who has a regular pregnancy. I'm going to directly kill you. If I could save you, I wouldn't. I'm going to directly kill you. Well, that's the same thing with a tubular pregnancy. Going in to directly kill the fetus embryo. Going directly in to kill the fetus embryo. As a matter of fact, there's embryos that are small enough inside the fallopian tube where you can just slice open the fallopian tube, take the embryo out. And so that facet, Stephanie Gray can't escape, because when a woman has tubular pregnancy and they can just make an incision, get the embryo out and come out with it and everything's fine, in that situation for sure, they're going in directly to get that embryo to kill it. So for Stephanie Gray to sit there and say to the woman who has an abortion for her own reasons, a woman who has a regular pregnancy has an abortion, to sit there and go, well, you're going in directly to kill it. Well, that's what you're doing with tubular pregnancy. The ones that, for sure, that you can make an incision and just get the embryo out and take it out and leave everything else behind, that is for sure 100% going in directly to kill the embryo. A woman with tubular pregnancy, in that situation, you're going in directly to kill that embryo. Just like a woman who's regularly pregnant. Going in directly to kill that embryo. So for Stephanie Gray to sit there and say, in her instance, it's okay to go in there, tubular pregnancy, it's okay to go in there directly to kill that embryo. But a woman who has a regular abortion to go in directly to kill the embryo, it's unjust. So Stephanie Gray says her scenario is 100% just. You just go in, take the embryo out, and kill it. But a woman with regular pregnancy is unjust to go in to take the embryo out and kill it. You see the double talk? You see the hypocrisy? And I love Stephanie Gray. But the hypocrisy, the double talk of this woman, and other pro-lifers like Scott Lusendorf, Francis Beckwith, Greg Cole, Sean McDowell, Alan Shoup, the double talk is outrageous. These Christians will do anything to get out of the obvious. To what anyone with common sense was like, no, you're lying, Stephanie Gray. You do support abortion. And don't sit there and say to women who get an abortion and say, well, who have a regular pregnancy, well, I'm going to directly kill you. And if I could save you, I wouldn't. So I just broke that down. I'm going in directly to kill you. Stephanie Gray, when a woman has a tubular pregnancy and they could just make an incision to get the embryo, it's the same thing. They're going directly in to kill the embryo. As if it was a regular pregnancy. They're going in directly to kill the embryo. Period. Now let me finish the second half of her first sentence. If I could save you, I wouldn't. This is what she says about women who have an abortion. This is their mindset, or doctor's mindset, or whoever, but this is their mindset, she says, Stephanie Gray says, I'm going in to directly kill you. If I could save you, I wouldn't. If I could save you, let me break that down. If I could save you, I wouldn't. That's pretty presumptuous, I think, because if I could save you, how many women would sit there and say, who get an abortion, if I could save you, I wouldn't. If I could save you, I wouldn't. How many women who had more money, if I could save you, if I had more money, I'm sure women who are desperately poor, if they had more money, a career, they would save that baby from being aborted. If they had more money, if they had the career they desired, they would save that baby from being aborted. Oh yes. Stephanie Gray, you're wrong. If women had it's known fact that most women, like 70-80%, whatever, who have an abortion are single. So how many women who if they had a loving husband, a loving boyfriend, a loving live-in partner, how many of them who had this loving spouse, how many would save their baby from being aborted? I'm sure a lot. How many women, if they had a family support, would save that baby from being aborted? I'm sure there's a lot. So for Stephanie Gray to sit there and say, well, I'm going in, this is the woman's mindset, Stephanie Gray says, or the doctor, whatever, but this is their mindset that people get an abortion. I'm going in directly to kill you. And if I could save you, I wouldn't. Stephanie Gray, you're so wrong. Because so many women, if they had proper amounts of money, or the right career, or a loving husband, or family support, or friend support, or community support, or they just had themselves mentally together, they would save that child from being aborted. You act as if women just wake up, oh man, I think I'll get an abortion today. Just like ordering McDonald's Happy Meal. I'll get an abortion today. No, come on, Stephanie Gray. Stop acting so righteous, so noble, so godly. You're just a human being like the rest of us. So Stephanie Gray, you support abortion. No ifs and buts about it. I've proven it. You support abortion. You're just double talking. You're just mincing words. You're just splitting hairs. You, Stephanie Gray, like Trent Horn, Josh Brown of Life Report, Francis Beckwith, Greg Kucol, all you guys, Scott Klusenhoff, you support abortion. And furthermore, Stephanie Gray, don't sit here and say, I'm going to, for the person who's going to get an abortion, I'm going directly to kill you. If I could save you, I wouldn't. Many women would save their kids if they could. Many women would save their kids if they could.